We're differently abled, differently.
Imagine a fire breaking out and people are running haphazardly towards safety. Yet, in a different room, we have someone who is deaf, completely unaware of his environment. What do? It is for this exact reason that a training was conducted on fire safety measures at ABC Church in Machakos. Take a look.
No human rights without sign language rights.
I would really advocate for every employer, for every social place to have a sign language interpreter. That way it will mean we will be inclusive enough even for the deaf people to be able to interact, to have engagements with the rest. So we will really advocate for sign language interpretation or sign language to be a language of our country. Like, it should be a language, the third language for now.
This project has been running for a year now. We want to create awareness about the health and safety to the deaf people, because most of the time you find that health and safety is taught to people who are hearing and they forget about the deaf. So at the end of the day you find that there is an accident has happened, a deaf person doesn't know what to do, so that they're tensing, they don't know what to do, they want to help, or they will help, but they do it in a wrong way. They end up even hurting the person even more. So we decided to come up with this project so that we can give the deaf people these skills. So in case of emergency, they are able to know what to do.
To celebrate this, Kaylee's consortium held a training on first aid and fire safety to equip the deaf with skills and techniques they need to act quickly during emergencies at work and at home.
The reasons to why we are here today, it's because we came here to train the deaf in the community. We wanted to train them on first aid and fire safety, but we've just tackled the first aid for today. And maybe to talk about first aid and why the primary survey is important. The primary survey is the first or the initial step that we do as a first aider, just to confirm if they are breathing, if the blood is circulating visually, if they can get air, so that before we go on with anything else.
And also we're teaching them on choking, what steps will you take when a person is choking, when a baby is choking, when a child is choking. We're also teaching them on fainting, because most of the time you find you're at your workplace, someone collapses, you don't know what's the problem. So we also have to give them these skills so that in case someone faints at work, they're able to help in giving them first aid. We're also teaching them on how to cover wounds if someone is injured and they have blood all over. So they have to learn how to cover the wounds so that they stop them from bleeding. We're also going to teach them on how to transport the casualty from where they got the injury to either the hospital or a safer place where they can do first aid. From today's training, I've learned about first aid, and I've learned about primary survey, where we have Dr. Cab. The first thing you should do as a first aider, you should protect yourself. So you should always have gloves on. And also, the gloves will help you protect yourself from any other infections. That is when you can now move ahead and attend to the casualty. Then, when there is no danger, you can help the casualty. So when you feel that there is danger, you leave the casualty.
This was very crucial as it prepares the participants to be ready in assessing any injury properly.
In first aid, we have different surveys, and we also have trainers where we decide on who is going to train on what on a particular day. So today I trained on the secondary survey, which is the survey where you need to do to someone, let's say a casualty who maybe fell down. It's a survey that you do from head to toe. What do we always confirm? We want to check if there is any bleeding, if there is any injury, if we have any, to confirm if the person is alive or dead. And then after that, we put the person in the recovery position, and when they're awake, they will wake up and maybe go.
So primary survey will help me to know what I'm supposed to do before I start the first aid to attend to the casualty.
The trainers explain the qualities and the duties of a first aider. They show them how to manage an emergency before rushing a victim to the hospital.
Qualities and the responsibility that we want them to go home with today, and I think is the first thing that we did teach them today. As a first aider, you need to be resourceful. You need to be humane enough. You need to have the knowledge and the skills, of course. You also need to be gentle. I was just teaching them that you, as a first aider, you don't need to use all the energy that you have when you're helping a casualty or anyone who is sick. So those are the qualities as a first aider that you need to have, and they say they are all ready to have them. The responsibility is to assess the situation. As a first aider, you have to assess the situation. Do you have any danger? What has happened? Because sometimes the sick person might, whatever the incident, the accident might happen when you're there, and so maybe you know what has happened. It's also responsibility of a first aider to take care of the casualty or the sick person. It's their responsibility to know how far the injury went. It's also their responsibility to take them to the hospital or maybe to call for medical help to come where they are. Yeah, those are the responsibilities that I have made sure they've taken home today.
The group was taken through the different classes of fire and their extinguishers.
Apart from first aid, we have fire safety, where we teach them how to evacuate, how to put off fire, and also if anything happens, moto ikianza right now, what can they do? So we take them through the process and everything. We have assembly points, we have fire extinguishers. Sometimes we do fire, then they try and put it off. That's how we go about it. Then we have OSH, that is occupational health safety, where we train them when they're working. What are the appropriate PPEs to use? How are you supposed to sit, your sitting position, everything. So everything to do with occupational health. We also train the deaf people.
One thing that I did not know initially was the classes of fire. I have learned that we have class A, B, C, E, and F, and we've also learned the different type of fire extinguisher and what to use, which fire extinguisher to use. For example, if this is fire from class A or class B or C, for example, C is gases. Yeah, so that is what I have learned today.
The church congratulated the organization for bringing the training.
I think it's important because the first thing we learned as a church is first aid and fire safety as of today. I'll say that we didn't have any skills on first aid. We didn't know what to do if fire happens. For example, in our church, we didn't know what to do. But from the skills that we've gotten, now we know more. And I know it's going to help us a lot.
Mobilizing people was a challenge for the organizers, but they are satisfied they reached their objective.
I feel like we've achieved our goal because we had a total of 25 people and the turnout today is 22. That is something I should be proud of. And the challenges is convincing the deaf people because this is still a new thing in the field. The deaf people are not aware of it. We've not created enough awareness about it. So advising and telling the deaf people to come for this training takes a lot.
I want to encourage the deaf people here in Kenya to plan on learning the first aid and also fire safety because this is a very important topic. It can save your lives and other people's lives. Because anytime maybe if we have a deaf person in the house and it happens that there is fire, with the training, you will not be stuck. You will know what to do, and you can also help any other person around you. So that is why we are here, ready to give you skills on first aid and fire safety.
With one call to policymakers and organizations to support the training, they also encourage the deaf to embrace such sessions and practice the skills learned.
The call to the organization that have deaf people, let them give these trainings to the deaf people, because this is one, personal development and also development of the organization. Because if something happens right now, if you are hearing, you'll pass somewhere and you'll hear someone saying, when someone faints, you have to lift their legs because they lack oxygen in their brain. But a deaf person will not get that information. So let them have these trainings at their workplace and ensure that a sign language interpreter is available for the deaf people to get this information.
We are training the deaf people so that they can be able to help the other deaf people, because they will be able to understand each other maybe when it comes to communicate. Because it's said, as a first aider, you don't need to just be acting without reassuring the casualties. So I'll want to encourage the deaf people. They shouldn't just learn and maybe keep the certificates at home, maybe learn and practice.
So when it comes to policy, I will insist that they don't only train the hearing, they also allow any other person with disability to access this training when the trainings of safety and health.